First of all, I promise to be very brief because after all these such wonderful panels and with all our students, it will be very difficult to add something else. But well, I try to be as quickly as I can. So, dear participants, as we come to the end of these 2 inspiring days here at the Carlos Gulbenkian Foundation, I would like to begin to express my sincere gratitude to European SchoolNet for organizing this year's School Innovation Forum in Portugal. Also for the trust in the team at the General Directorate for Education and the collaborative environment created so that this forum could be a success. Since its foundation in the late 19th, European SchoolNet has played a pivotal role in transforming education across Europe. As a network of over 30 ministries of education, with Portugal being one of its founding members, European SchoolNet has consistently worked to support innovation in teaching and learning, to promote digital competencies, and to bridge the gap between education policy and classroom practices. So over the past 2 decades, EUN has led numerous groundbreaking projects focused on the integration of digital technology in schools, team education, digital citizenship, teachers' professional development, along with so many others focused on innovating with teachers for pedagogical practices. So through its coordination of European initiatives and research-based pilot programs, it has empowered educators and policymakers alike to embrace more inclusive, forward-thinking, and evidence-informed approaches to schooling. So, EUN's long-standing commitment to collaboration, knowledge sharing, and innovation continues to shape the future of education in Europe, helping schools and the countries to become more responsive to the challenges of a rapidly changing world. So again, and it's never too much, a big thank to the European SchoolNet and to Marco Durando for trusting in Portugal to do the School Innovation Forum here in Lisbon. It has been a true privilege to welcome participants from across Europe. Your presence, your energy, your insights, and your commitment have made this event not only possible and productive, but truly meaningful. Gathering here in Lisbon in such a historic and culturally rich setting has given us the perfect backdrop for deep discussions, new collaborations, and shared visions for the future. Thank you for creating such the thoughtful and inspiring spaces for us to come together. So it's not an easy task to synthesize the richness of all the reflections that took place here in this forum. I had to list and highlight the most used words, sentences in our session. I could talk about digital well-being, collective intelligence, decision based on research data, involvement of everyone, change, innovation, challenges, inclusion, support, flexibility, digital competencies, and so on. And I added during the morning, coherence and balance. And these are meaningful words because they are supported in strong beliefs, research, data, and urgent action that we must take in our educational systems. I will highlight some of the ideas that come up and can be seen as our common tracks regarding the role that education must play in order to shape Europe's digital future. And after these intense days, I think that Portugal is aligned with much of the work that is underway in the various educational systems in Europe regarding to digital education, and also with the research results presented here. In parallel to a large-scale program for digital transition in education here in Portugal, with huge investments in the acquisition of computers for all students and teachers, a program to develop digital skills for all teachers, digital education laboratories, and a large investment still underway in the production of digital educational resources, Portugal has introduced at the beginning of the current school year key recommendations aiming to promote responsible mobile phone use in schools. The use must comply with the level of education, and the implementation of restrictions must be accompanied by an impact monitoring. In early 2025, Portugal's Directorate-General for Education released the recommendations for promoting digital well-being in schools developed by a team of national experts. These guidelines aim to support schools in fostering a balanced and healthy digital environment for students, educators, and families. These efforts underscore Portugal's commitment to integrate digital technologies in education while prioritizing the well-being of its students. Returning to the main ideas discussed here in this School Innovation Forum, the ones that come up and can be seen as our common tracks regarding to the role that education must play to shape Europe's digital future, they can be summarized as follows. First, we need to foster the development in each school of high-performing digital educational ecosystems in which the digital is used in an organic way to boost up both teaching and learning processes and to make communication and administrative process flow better and more effectively. In fact, schools seen as high-performing digital ecosystems in whole school approach take the most out the digital without doing it as an end, but by designing plural teaching and learning environments with specific educational purposes, strategies and resources aiming to raise quality in education and inclusiveness for all. Second, let's look to the Council of Europe recommendations published last April on promoting inclusive education across Europe. Conclusions on inclusive learner-centered practices in early childhood education and care and school education, and I'm going to quote, "The role of education and training is crucial in fostering inclusive and democratic societies and driving competitiveness and prosperity. An inclusive society built on the foundation of equitable and high-quality education and training, providing accessible infrastructures, teaching materials, and pedagogical approaches, ensures and improves opportunities, well-being, and growth for all learners, regardless of their background, abilities, or circumstances." So, we are speaking about capacity building, and that should be in the heart of our priorities. Through the reinforcement of educators' digital competencies with the offer of flexible and sustained professional development opportunities. Resetting education and training is a challenge and a demand in times of digital transition, and strengthening cooperation and exchange in digital education at the UN level will be an added value to this process. So, as learning organizations, schools must address this challenge and demand by rebuilding themselves, extending the boundaries of their action, and making learning happen for all through the digital education and through the reconfiguration of learning spaces, making them more accessible and inclusive. So, this is the momentum for change. This is the opportunity for all to achieve quality education. Quality education is the foundation of a fair and thriving society, but for it to truly make a difference, it must be inclusive, reaching every learner regardless of the background, ability, or circumstances. An inclusive education values diversity, promotes equal opportunities, and ensures that no one is left behind. At the same time, it must also prioritize the well-being of students and educators alike, because only when we feel safe, supported, and respected, we can truly learn, grow, and contribute for a better society. So, thanks a lot for your participation. Hope to see you in Lisbon again as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.